Hey, Happy New Year. And it is New Year's Eve. I'm coming to you almost live. I'm gonna upload this right after I film it. You can tell from the soca that I hope you can hear coming in from my neighbor's apartment. So it's been an exciting, very challenging month. Um, I got offered, as I mentioned earlier in the month, a chance to do a piece at Dixon Place, and so my focus had to shift really abruptly to that, trying to get that off the ground. Um, so I did a bunch of writing for it. The project is called Here Serpent. It's kind of a treatment of Antony and Cleopatra. It also incorporates contemporary material that's like criticism of Antony and Cleopatra, or gender theory around Antony and Cleopatra, and also some contemporary stuff about trans dating, which is a lot of it is my writing. Some of it is generated with Brian McQueen, my collaborator. And it's been really hard. I'm really very anxious about it. Partly because the writing is not. I wish I could do more with the writing in the time that I have, and that's just not possible. And then also, collaboration is really challenging. And that's been, I've seen that a lot of times this year. It seems like I need to keep learning that lesson. And so I'm grateful that I do feel like I'm getting closer to making the work that is the work that I want to do. Like, it feels more fully realized. Um, and also, I am still finding it really hard to not fall into resentment, to not like compare the way that I am when I work on someone else's project, and how accountable I try to be, like comparing that to the way that people show up for me. And having these really, these thoughts about like authority or leadership in creative projects, creative settings. Because it does really feel like something about what I'm doing just isn't like eliciting the commitment or respect from my collaborators that I wish it did. And of course, it's possible that part of that is money. Money does, in the system that we live in, make things a lot more concrete. For me too. I've seen myself do that too. So, so I know that's part of it, but I don't think it's all of it. And then there's that struggle, right, to try to take power in a situation in a way that is useful, to try to give people a container that makes sense and lets them show up without being authoritarian. And I don't feel like I'm successful in that at this point. I'm working on it, and it's hard. Um, so, I will say that there are a lot of things being kind of pushed on me, because this is the first production that like Tiresias Project as an entity, not like in collaboration with a theater company or another festival or something. The first thing I'm taking on myself, and so there's stuff like creating like rudimentary promotional materials and working on like prop and design stuff. Some of that is fun, although of course I wish I had support and got to like just be a writer and an actor. Some of it is really fun. I have a creepy mask that I can post a picture of. And I have gotten to go shopping at Goodwill, which I find really creatively stimulating. I find thrifting like very inspiring. Um, and I've been also uh, meeting with someone, Linus Ignatius, who is a great queer filmmaker, activist, actor. And we've been talking about creating like visual components, multimedia components for this piece, and also just trying to give me a sense of film in general, um, which I'm really excited for, hopeful about. Um, Other kind of creative news, I saw there's a large exhibit at the New Museum called Trigger Gender as a Tool and Weapon, which I went to see. And more than any of the work which is there, much of which, of course, is beautiful and um, important, and some of it involving people I know, which is, of course, exciting. Um, Watching that be consumed by straight ish people, straight presenting, artsy type people, that was really activating for me, like being in an audience for this work with straight people. And that's also something for me to think about as I'm like definitely making art that is pretty explicitly trans, and thinking of my audience as being everyone, you know? Um, so, what is that discomfort that I then have with the work of my people being consumed? Um, I also got out a bunch of grad school applications this month, or five, which is not quite a bunch, but is some. And I am really grateful again for your support around that, making that possible. Um, as far as the novel, which still, still feels like my primary project, and still feels like I may have spoken about this already. Um, Feels like I'm really in the same nexus of questioning with this theater piece, like, uh, what is the relationship really with the love object? Like, are you ever really seeing, really in human relationship with the people that you say you love? Um, Even though I still feel like I'm in that kind of zone of inquiry, I haven't been able to work on the novel directly that much. I do have it out to a few readers, a few really intelligent readers who I'm excited to get feedback from, um, who are all looking at it for free for me right now, which is like crazy and amazing, and also means I'm like waiting on their timeline, of course. Um, so I am hopeful that once this theater project comes to a head on the 16th, as soon as that's done, I should be able to. I should have some feedback from folks and be able to kind of jump back into that world. Um, and I've also applied for some shorter residencies. Um, in addition to grad school, I've applied to a couple of writing residencies as opportunities, hopefully, to pursue that in a more focused container. Um, so that's where I am. And um, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for your support and to know that I am in communication with people who are also um, making their own work and who are being really generous and compassionate towards me in just believing in my ability to do this, let alone like throwing some bread into that. Um, and Tomorrow's a full moon. And I'm going to get off of this platform and try to do some journaling around releasing resentments and try to do some New Year's ritual work. And I hope that you do too. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.